Just one second. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I'd like to invite the speaker, Mr. Siddharth Jaiswal, who will be talking about agribusiness potential in natural farming. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I have shared my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, well, fine, good enough. Well, my name is Siddharth Jaiswal, and I'm currently heading the Agribusiness Incubation Center at the Birsa Agriculture University at Ranchi. And my background is I've done my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and I've been working with farmer groups for natural farming for the last 20 to 25 years. I worked in different areas of the country, Gujarat, MP, Bihar, Jharkhand, and currently I'm heading this Agribusiness Incubation Center at Birsa Agriculture University. It's a state agriculture university of Jharkhand state. So what we are talking about is agribusiness potential in natural farming. We'll start with the very basics, the fundamentals. Uh, I think this most of the audience would not have seen this table. This table is actually derived from a book. It is actually a document. The name of the document is Economic History of the World. Around in 2000, there's an organization called OECD, Organization for Economic and Cooperative Development, which commissioned a study to write the economic history of the world. The chairperson of the committee was Angus Madison, who was an economist, who was a British economist, and then under his chairmanship, this document, this topic was researched, and then this document, this book was published. The reason for showing this data here is that you can see from 1 AD to 2003 AD. This is the GDP of five major economic superpowers across the globe. So the India part, you can see it is colored in orange line. This table is not built on scale. From 1 AD to 1700 AD, it is shortened, and the rest remaining 300 years from 1700 to 2003 AD, it is a bit expanded. So this table is not built on scale. So what we can see is that if we talk about the contribution of India's GDP in the world GDP, we can see that in last 2000 years, India had controlled almost 22 to 23% minimum GDP of the world GDP for 1700 years in 2000 years. So one country which controlled approximately one fourth of world's GDP in 1700 years out of 2000 years, this was India. So uh, if we just think over it, was it due to industrial production or was it due to services? It was agribusiness. So agribusiness at that point of time, what was the agribusiness? What was the agricultural method of production? How agricultural trade was conducted. Look, very few literature is available nowadays. There are in ancient documents called Krishi Parashar, Vrikshar Ved, which talk about all these methods of farming through which the farming was being conducted in those days. So we've got a data set, we've got a document set which shows us how it was being done over there. So now the issue is, if these ancient texts and documents are there, so why aren't we studying it? Actually, if we see the advent of modern agriculture, India India in India it started at around late 50s and the early 60s. The first agriculture university after independent India was built in 1960 in Govind Vallabh Pant Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Pantnagar. After that, subsequently more agricultural universities were opened up. And if you'll go and look into the website of this Pantnagar, then you'll be able to realize, you'll be able to see that in 1952, 1954, 1950s, scientists from University of Illinois came. They designed the syllabus for Pantnagar, and then accordingly, Pantnagar University started functioning from 1960, and subsequently all the universities which were formed, they are still following the syllabus which the original University of Illinois scientists said. Of course, during the decades, the subsequent changes were made, but still, mostly the syllabus being followed is that of still Western origin, which is where the urea, the DAP, and all the chemical inputs, chemical fertilizers, pesticides became institutionalized, and this is what we are studying now. So this is how the syllabus of what we are studying today has been designed and devised. But prior to that, there were many acclaimed scientists who had worked on agriculture, on farming, and one such person is Sir Albert Howard. Sir Albert Howard is known as the father of organic farming across the globe, and his book, An Agricultural Testament, it is it is regarded as the Bible on organic farming across the globe. This book was published in 1940. Background of Sir Albert Howard was that he was a botanist from University of Cambridge. He was sent to India in 1905 to improve agricultural production in India. But when he came here, he saw all the agricultural developments. And then when this book was published in 1940, it became a rage across the globe because of maybe two reasons. First reason, what he has given is that he has my point is that if anybody is interested in understanding agriculture, leave alone natural farming, just agriculture also, they should definitely read this book. This is a must book for all the agri enthusiasts. So in this book, Sir Albert Howard has written that I was sent to India to improve agriculture, but after staying here for so many years, I've come to realize that I cannot teach these people. I've I have to learn over here. He has written that agriculture in Southeast Asia, in India, South China, Burma, Sri Lanka, Ceylon, everywhere, agriculture is much, much advanced than in agriculture in Europe and US and all those area, in western part of the world. Why so? He has given very simple examples. In fact, this book is full of examples, and this book is full of data and facts and figures of early 20s, early 30s, all the data. It is mentioned over here. So what he has written, he has given very few good examples. One of the examples is that he says that in India, in areas Bengal, and all these coastal belt in Western India, sorry, eastern part of the country, Bengal, Odisha, and all these areas, paddy is being cultivated during Kharif season. In Rabi season also, paddy is being cultivated, and then in this Zad season, what we call in Hindi the Garma, then also paddy is being sown. So in India, paddy is being sown for at least last 3,000 to 4,000 years. And in single patch of land, paddy is growing three type three times a year for 3,000 years. Still, the land has not become barren. But what does the modern agrochemical studies suggest? Leave alone a single crop. Even if you grow two crops, paddy and wheat, after a couple of years, the soil will start losing fertility, and then we'll have to do either crop rotation or mixed cropping, or pulses have to be introduced, or something or the other has to be improved. But still in India, many areas in Bengal, all this coastal belt, paddy is being grown two times, three times a year, and uh, three times a year, still there is no decline in productivity. So, Sir Albert Howard has, uh, what his viewpoint is that it has been possible in India only due to the reason that the farming in India was always and always accompanied with cattle. It was always a cattle-based farming. So all the dung and the urine which the cattle used to give, and the farmers used to keep all these animals, their dung and urine was sufficient to grow all to to grow even a single crop 3 times a year. So this was his contention. So what the point what I'm trying to say is that there's enough scientific evidence, there's enough historical evidence to show that natural farming, if we say in a very simple terms, natural farming is something which is equivalent to agroecological farming in the West. Niti Aayog has defined in last 5 to 10 years what is natural farming. Otherwise, prior to that, around 15, 20 years back, if we see any agricultural literature, natural farming means just simply like doing nothing. We have just thrown the seeds and they will grow naturally without any human or with very little human intervention. This is what natural farming has generally been taught in books. But Niti Aayog in last 5 to 10 years, they have defined natural farming, and it is very much equivalent to agroecological farming in the West. So, in fact, I think from last year itself, the government of India has stopped any new scheme for organic farming. Instead, all the schemes of organic farming has been dovetailed into natural farming. So, natural farming is much more sustainable than organic farming, and there are many reasons for it. So, what I'll do is I'll just quickly take you through the reasons, and because until unless you understand the basic fundamentals, marketing of natural farming products would be a bit difficult. So first we should understand what our strengths, how we need to market, how we need to brand our product. So what is the issue? This is the issue. We get two types of nutrients from our food. First one is carbohydrate, which provides us energy to work. Second is we get a lot of micronutrients, protein, vitamin, zinc, iron, calcium, many of these micronutrients from our crops. So these are the two major requirements what we expect from our crops. So this is the major problem with agriculture, which nobody wants to talk. Say for in we've got all the data is properly referenced. So this, what does this data show? That this data shows that during the last 100 years, the nutrition in crops have declined like anything. Say for example, when we see the nutrient literature for cabbage, in 1914 the 100 grams cabbage showed 248 milligrams calcium. Till 1992 it got declined to 47 milligram. Spinach, we everyone know why do we eat spinach? Because it contains iron and magnesium. They are required for formation of blood. So if you'll see the 1914, 100 grams spinach contained 64 milligrams iron, which slowly and slowly got reduced to 2.7 milligrams. And this anomaly is there in all the crops, all the grains, all the vegetables. Most of them, they are showing a declining trend in nutrition. In this chart, what you can see is in 1948, we have taken an average. So it is not a first-hand data, it is an averaging because the methodologies for calculation were different in 1914 and 1992. So that is why an average has been taken. This is the data for India. In India, there's a Government of India lab called National Institute of Nutrition, which is responsible for classification and nutritional profiling of all the food crops, grains, vegetables, fruits in India. So this data is from National Institute of Nutrition, which was published in 2017 in Down to Earth magazine. This data shows that most of the crops are having nutrition decline. Some of them are increasing, some of them are improving. We talk to the doctors that yes, what are improving? What we understand is that due to maybe use of agrochemicals or maybe other stress, biotic or abiotic factors, nutrition may be declining in food, but still some are improving. So the doctors explained to us in very simple terms. They said, ki, say for example, citrus fruits like oranges and say for oranges. We eat oranges basically for vitamin C, but the vitamin C in oranges is declining and the sugar content is improving, increasing. It means the anomaly in our food is increasing. Then desired nutrients are decreasing, and the undesired nutrients which are not required they are improving. So this is a major anomaly which we are coming across all the food, fruits, vegetables everywhere. What is this data? This data shows that during the decades 50s, 60s, 70s, there is no doubt improvement in food grain production, but at what cost? In 50s, when we used to conduct soil tests, there was only deficiency of nitrogen which was found. By 60s, iron was added to it. By 70s, the soil profile showed deficiency in not just nitrogen, iron, but in zinc, phosphorus, and potash also. So as food grain production was increasing, the nutrient deficiency in soil was also increasing. So we need to understand why we are focusing on nutrition, because this is the strength of natural farming. In natural farming, the natural farming produce, they definitely have higher nutritional content, which aids in marketing and branding and fetching good prices. Next, next is a government of India data called Krishi Pandit Award. After 1949, after independence, the government of India instituted a Krishi Pandit Award for six major crops: paddy, wheat, sorghum, pearl millet, potato, and gram. And cash prizes were given. All this data is available in the Press Bureau of Archives. The details are there. These are the list of the awardees for this Krishi Pandit Award. You can see in 1950-51, Mr. J.C. Sangaiya from Coorg, Karnataka. He was his productivity of paddy was the highest. That was 12.8 metric ton per hectare, which is almost more than 50 quintals per acre. Mr. Jaipal Chandra from Bulandshahr, Uttar Pradesh had a potato productivity of 68.9 metric ton per hectare. We should not forget that during these times, 49, 50, 51, 52, India was almost 99.99% organic. There was no means, no use of any agrochemicals. So without use of any hybrid seeds, without use of any agrochemicals, urea, DAP chemicals, still we used to have such high productivity, which is also mentioned in the Agricultural Testament by Sir Albert Howard. So there is enough historical evidence that it is not necessary that urea, DAP, all the chemical inputs and hybrid seeds are required for improving productivity. Natural methods are also there through which we can increase our productivity. What is the science behind? This is something very important which we should do. What we did was we conducted experiments along with many farmers, and in fact, it was from my teacher, late Shri Deepak Sujde, under whom I learned Amrit Krishi and natural farming, the basics, fundamentals. So this data is from him. This is Locky bottle guard. There were two sets of bottle guards, one which were procured from the market, and the other one which was grown through Amrit Krishi. Amrit Krishi is also a form of natural farming. So what we did was we conducted nutritional tests on them. The You can see very easily that the bottle guard, which is grown through chemical farming, the protein content is just 1.44 gram, whereas protein in bottle guard, which is grown through Amrit Krishi technique, is 7.81 gram. The calcium in bottle guard in chemical farming is 11.6 milligram, while in Amrit Krishi it is 15.2. Vitamin D12 in chemical farming is below detection level, whereas in case of Amrit Krishi, it is 3 milligram per 100 gram. Additionally, iron magnesium is there, which is not found in chemical farming bottle guard. So, based on this, we conducted many tests at Birsa Agriculture University in Ranchi, Jharkhand, and other areas also. And everywhere the results were on the similar lines, that if you are growing food through the chemical farming method using chemical inputs, the nutritional content will definitely decline. These are something organic carbon. I'll not get into the details because, and this is something in 2018 we submitted our research paper at a nutrition conference at AIMS New Delhi in 2018, wherein we got first prize in the poster presentation category. We did show that how, not just how, we showed that yes, if we are using natural farming and native seeds, the nutritional content in all the crops will increase. And as a commoner, we need not be dependent on just nutraceutical, not just nutraceutical chemical tablets. If we can improve the food content, the nutrition content in the food, we no longer would be required to purchase any nutraceutical tablets. So this was an important finding, and we got recognized through this. This was the team with the Deepak Sujde, which got the first prize at AIMS New Delhi. What is Amrit Krishi? Amrit Krishi is just a form of natural farming in which Amrit Jal and Amrit Mitti is required. Most of the literature, most of the documents, if you would like to search on Amrit Krishi, it is available on internet, it is available in public domain. So I will not give much time to it. You can just simply go through it. It's very simple: cow dung, cow urine, molasses, jaggery, or any other sweet fruit which is decaying. It can be used, and its the preparation is very simple. We have been using it for last 15 years with a very great effect. Hundreds, not just hundred, thousands of farmers have taken benefit out of it. Benefits are huge, benefits are large. It's a zero tillage system, no pesticides, fertilizers for at least 15 years, increased productivity from the very first crop, nutrition level in crops also increases, which becomes a major uh, source for branding and marketing of our produce. And since the nutrition content in the food crops have improved, it also increases the shelf life of the produce. This is also increased. Now, this is a Chakulia initiative. Chakulia is a block in East Singhbhum district in Jharkhand state where we have been working for last 14 years. This is just a small data what we have started in 2015 over there. We are doing it with native seeds, and currently we are growing with around 1,000 plus farmers. Farmers from Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. They came to us. They got trained, and now in around more than 200 acres of land in Jabalpur, in Madhya Pradesh, the areas around Jabalpur, the farmers are working with us for this Amrit Krishi, and other areas of in Odisha also many people have started. So as and as people understand, they realize traditional system, traditional seeds, native cattle, their dung, urine, and all this farming, it becomes very important how to do this. Now comes this. We have also formed many nutritional gardens using this Amrit Krishi technique in deputy commissioners, Ranchi, their official bungalow, with this many Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, these government schools. We worked with them. We trained young people, especially from rural areas, all the school students, how to work with native cattle, dung and urine, all these details. We have been working with them. Now comes the forward part. How do we market this? What we have done is, since we are using native seeds and natural farming, our USP is that we have done. In fact, we have also done We have conducted many tests. We have found that if you are using native seeds and natural farming, nutritional content in the food crops will increase like anything. So what we did was we made this our USP and we made this our marketing point. So we contacted the big retail outlets, Big Basket, Modern Bazaar, and all this. So what we also did was we formed a company. We formed a company in the sense there were a couple of people, Major Monica Rawat, Mr. Sanjeev. Uh, we encouraged them to form a company so that the produce of all these farmers can be sold through big media channels, big retail stores, so Modern Bazaar, Big Basket. So now the products of our farmers are available in Amazon, Flipkart, Modern Bazaar, all the modern retail formats. Our products are available. What we did was we made USP the nutritional content of native seeds and natural farming. We conducted workshops with doctors because doctors became our first customers because doctors they understand nutrition very well. For a doctor also it is a problem that if he or she goes to the market, he or she is forced to buy all those pesticide laden food, all those pesticide laden vegetables, grains, and everywhere. So when we got awarded the AIMS doctors, they became our first customers. They said, "No, we want all this produced. You just send them through train, but we would like to have all this produced." So we started working with them. We also started engaging all these social media influencers. So my only point is that if you are entering into a market, you have to play by the rules of the market. You simply just cannot say, "Oh, we are small and marginal farmers, so please buy our product." This cannot be. So there has to be a proper branding. There have to be proper packaging. I'll show you how it is being done. So today, the products of our farmers are available in all the modern retail formats. These are the different packaging details. I'll just show you some of the packets, the way it is being sold. You see, these are the social media campaigns. There's an Instagram page, Facebook page, WhatsApp, YouTube channel, and all these channels where all these consumer awareness and education, these are being continued. around there. Khapli atta, gluten free. These are some of the packets, the nutritional facts what we have been using. Kali banga, basmati rice, red chana dal, cold press also, and wood press also, mustard oil. These are all with native seeds and natural farming. Bhutki rice. These are the native rice varieties of Jharkhand which we have been promoting. So when we started working with farmer groups and then we connected them to modern retail formats with startups and everyone, so it got huge coverage and this also helped us in marketing and branding of the produce. So newspaper and all those Doordarshan and everyone covered us that yes, this is something. These products are a bit different because generally in market the organic farming products are available, but native seeds and organic farming, or in other words, native seeds plus natural farming, these products are generally not easily available in the market. So this was the USP which we tried to showcase, and then it 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 was received very well by the market. And then right now we are working with almost 1,000 plus acre in 1,000 plus farmers. So what these people are doing, look, they are getting huge orders, and so much so that they are not able to fulfill all these orders. So this is modern. What I would like to say is that the next 25 years will not be the same as last 25 years. The world is changing very fast. The people after corona, they've realized that yes, if there is no nutrition in the crops, it is futile to eat. So if anybody is eating because no other option is available, that's a different case. But then right now there is enough number of people. There are good premium segment people. The customer base is there, which wants nutrition and which is ready to pay. So I think if the consumer market is changing, if there is already a set of people who want natural farming products with native seeds, then I think this is a very good market. Because normally what people, the mistake what the normal people do is they first make the production and then they start looking for market. In our case, we did the opposite. We first finalized the market, we finalized the customer base, which will be our client, and then we asked a few startups to get involved with us, and through them, we started marketing the produce of our farmers. So this is what we have been doing up till now. So if there are any queries or if there are any questions, you can ask, because time is a bit short. So I tried to encompass as much as possible in the shortest possible time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Siddharth, for the presentation. Now I'll take up some questions. So the first question is, what are the most promising agribusiness opportunities emerging from natural farming?
Okay, well, let's see. Uh, uh, Today, agribusiness is being done in three different levels. First level is that of grains, pulses, oil seeds. Second level is vegetables. The third level is flowers. So, in the first level, in grains, pulses, and oil seeds, the risk is a bit low, the perishability is a bit low, and accordingly, the margins are also a bit low. But if you compare this it with vegetables, the risk is a bit higher because of higher perishability, and accordingly the margins are higher. The flowers have the highest margins, and because the primary reason being they've got risk. The risk in growing flowers and their marketing is a bit highest. So whenever anybody is entering into an agri business, we would first suggest, first in first year, maybe around 80% of the crops should be with grains, staples, oil seeds, pulses. Around 15% maybe with vegetables, and then maybe around 5% we can try with flowers also, so that we should not miss any season. We can grow all types of crops in at least in first year. In second year, with our experience, if we are able to find good market, because for grains, staples, oil seeds, oils, pulses, we can even export it. We can send it across the length and the breadth of the country. But if we are growing vegetables, so the distance through which you can send is a bit limited at times with many of the crops. Of course, in some crops like potato, um, onion, and garlic, they can be sent across the length and the breadth of the company of the country. But still, vegetables, their the transport is a bit limited. So what I would suggest is in second year onward, depending upon how much market you are able to access vegetables, flowers, and grains, accordingly you can change the product mix. You can either reduce the grains or you can increase the vegetables, or whichever market you find best, because in the first year you have to do a bit of an experiment. So but initially, we should be working with crops which are having low risk rather than those crops which are having higher risks.
Okay. And how can farmers generate higher income through natural farming beyond crop production?
Beyond crop production, acha, theek hai. Because today was half an hour was a bit less, so I was not able to cover anything. I'll just give you very small example, something like cold processing and wood processing. Something like if you are growing mustard or groundnut, and if you are using native seeds and we are using natural farming, then of course the nutrition will be high. But uh, if we are using a method like solvent extraction or expeller for oil extraction, then the higher temperatures will burn many of the micronutrients in the oil. So now people are asking cold press. People are asking for wood press. So if you have, say for example, if you are taking any one crop like a groundnut, if you are having a native variety groundnut, if you are growing through natural farming, and if you are extracting oil through wood processing, then I think this is the best price. So we should uh, we should try to make and sell products which has got higher demand in the market. I'll explain with a very simple example, in the sense, when we convert paddy to rice, there are still some people in the village which will buy that rice. So in rice, generally in our area, rice is being sold in villages at around 30 rupees per kg. The same rice, when it comes to a tier 2 city like Ranchi or Bokaro or Jamshedpur, it is being sold at 50 to 60 rupees per kg. The same rice, when it travels to Delhi, Kolkata, or Mumbai, it is being sold from 100 to 150 rupees per kg. And the same rice, when exported to maybe England, UK, the same rice is being sold at 400 rupees per kg. So the rice which is being sold at 400 rupees per kg, and the rice which is being sold at 30 rupees or 35 rupees per kg in the village, the cost of farming, cost of production is same for all these. The difference being, where is the market? Where are you marketing your produce? If you're selling your produce in the local village market, you'll get around 30, 35 rupees. If you're selling in a tier 2 cities, you'll get around 50, 50, 60 rupees. If you're selling in metros, you'll definitely get between 100 to 150. And if you're exporting, you'll definitely get over 400 or 450 rupees. So different markets have different prices. Cost of cultivation, cost of production may be same. So if we realize this, yes, there is a market in especially a produce like natural farming, which has high nutrition content. People in smaller cities or people in villages where people may not be able to appreciate it much, in the sense that the volume which you want to sell in a village or in a small city, it may not be as big as in a metro. So if you're selling your if you're selling your produce, if you're selling a product which has higher nutrition content, so I would suggest you go to the market which pays you the highest. In India, the highest payment you will receive from metros. So we should ideally make a tie up with some startup or some big stores in metros, and then we should, of course, we should get into certification, everything, so that a minimum trust level is guaranteed to the customers. But then I would suggest is uh, processing should be done, especially with cold processing, and then we can also look to bigger markets in metros where we can fetch higher prices for our farmers. Yes.
Right. Okay. And what value-added products can be developed from natural farming produce?
Pardon? Can you please repeat?
What value-added products can be developed from natural farming produce?
Well, there are many value-added products. Say, for example, if you are growing any oil seed like groundnut or mustard, you can convert this into oil. If you are growing something like wheat, you can convert this to an atta, packaged atta, you can sell. If you are growing pulses, then you can put up a dal mill at your own self, convert this into a pulse which can be eaten, and then you can package it and then sell. So there are two business models. First one is B2B, business to business. You sell all your produce in 50 kg bags or 20 kg bags without any labeling. Second thing is you convert this into small packaging units, small SKUs like half kg, 1 kg, and all these things, and you convert them into with your own branding, with your own wholesaler, retailer, distributor. Something like if you're growing spices, then you can put up your own spice mill, convert this into spices powder like dhania powder, turmeric powder, and then you can sell through these. So value addition has to be there. So just like normal value addition is required for the development of the people, in natural farming also, if you can do some value addition. Say for example, in Jabalpur, there's a lady with her organic bakery. So she uses all the raw materials which are organic and native seeds from our farmers. She makes organic bakery products, and then this she's got a good market.
Okay. And how can entrepreneurs build a profitable business around natural farming inputs and services?
Well, in as far as natural farming inputs is concerned, natural farming itself means that farmers should use inputs which are locally available. In organic farming, there are entrepreneurs who can set up factories to manufacture all these biofertilizers and biopesticides, which can be sold to the farmers. But in natural farming, the input business is a bit restricted, in the sense the farmers are encouraged to prepare their own fertilizers and their own biofertilizer, biopesticide from locally available resources. So I think in the longer run, look, maybe in the shorter run, in 5 to 10 years, there will be a growing market for input suppliers. But eventually, when farmers they get trained into preparing their own biofertilizers, biopesticides, then input supply would be a bit constrained in natural farming.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. And what are the major challenges in marketing and branding natural farming products?
Well, the main challenges are that if you are not able to identify the right markets, where do we want to sell? And every market has its own requirement of labeling and branding and quality control. If we are trying to market our product in metros, we have to first conduct a market survey, that what are the competing brands, how they are marketing, how they are packaging, how they are labeling. So you have to remain competitive. If you are trying to sell in a tier two city, we need to do a market survey. So without any market survey, if you try to enter into a selling phase or marketing phase without understanding what your competitors are doing, without having any competitor analysis, then it will be a bit difficult. It will be highly risky. What I would suggest is first you should fix up which market you want to sell, conduct a basic market survey of, and then your competitor analysis, and accordingly launch your product.
And how can FPOs help farmers achieve better price realization for naturally grown produce?
So, what is the question?
How can FPOs help farmers achieve better price realization or naturally grown produce?
Well, first thing is they should, if you are doing natural farming, you should do certification. You should train your farmers. FPOs should train their farmers to use native seeds, natural farming, and value addition. These three things. First thing is native seeds. Second thing is natural training of farmers on natural farming. Third one is value addition means like cold processing or something like that. So if the FPO is able to do it, then marketing will not be an issue. There are enough big companies, good companies in the market who want quality products. So if we are able to provide the required quality to the companies, I think the, we are currently working with around 1,000 plus farmers, and something like a mustard oil, cold wood pressed mustard oil. Uh, there, we are currently working with around 800 farmers, and for mustard oil, mustard seeds we are growing in around 800 acres of land, and the demand in the market, our farmers are not able to fulfill even 2% of the total demand in 800 acres of land. So this is the kind of market which is already over there. If we can produce a quality product, then the consumer will be after you. Then you need not go and pursue the market. The consumers will be looking after you. That from where we can get this produce.
And what is the current consumer demand for natural farming products in India?
Well, it's growing phenomenally, especially with the metros and the metros, tier one cities and tier two cities. The demand is rising like anything. So I think right now the highest demand is there in the metros. So if we are growing anything, first we should target is metros uh, because metro is a place where you can get a premium price for your product. So metros is something which we should focus on.
And how can natural farming be transformed from a cultivation practice into complete value chain business model that benefits farmers, processors, and consumers alike?
For this we will this is a long term process actually, for which you need to build a brand. Then if you have built a brand, then yes, of course the producers will also get benefit, the processors will also get benefit, and all the retailers, wholesalers, distributors, everybody would like to get associated with a big brand. The big brand is found first through higher volumes, and then with the passage of time, with 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, if you consistently provide good quality produce and in volume, then slowly your brand will build, and then because of that brand, you'll be able to command a premium from the market. But it will take minimum 4 to 5 years of time.
How can young entrepreneurs and rural youth benefit from the natural farming ecosystem?
Well, I think for rural youth, there has never been a better time than now, because there are so many incentives, so many schemes by government of India, by respective state governments also for promotion of young people. Suppose if a young entrepreneur, a rural person wants to put up a value addition machinery like cold processing of pulses or oil mill or anything like that. So for males, there are startup schemes. For females, there is a stand-up scheme. There's CGTMSE scheme. There are so many schemes the government of India have come up. The only thing is they should be able to know where to seek help from, who will be able to guide. So we are there in Jharkhand. So we've got many startups which come on to us for support, for information, for training, many things. So in all the states, the respective universities and ICR institutes, many of them, they're having their business incubation centers, their agribusiness incubation centers. They can be approached, or even you can approach us also. We'll be able to guide.
Okay. And as CEO of BPD, Birsa Agriculture University, what successful natural farming startups or enterprise you have supported?
Well, we have supported quite a number of initiatives. First one is this Amrit Krishi. Another one is Panchgavya. Panchgavya is basically concoctions of five elements from native cattle. That is also useful in agriculture in natural farming. So these two are there, and then there is one bakery also which uses natural raw ingredients. These are some of the organizations which we have helped, apart from many smaller organizations.
And last question.
Yes.
What policy support and business models are needed to make natural farming a sustainable and scalable agribusiness?
Well, the policy support, what would be majorly required is that all the ICR institutions and all the state agricultural universities, they should be encouraged to conduct more research on natural farming. Their extension departments should undertake more extension training systems for their farmers for natural farming. And it's something like Sir Albert Howard and their agriculture testament on all these documents, books, they should be institutionalized and taught in agriculture universities, ICR institutes that yes, natural farming is a sustainable model for farming.
Okay. So before we wind up, one last question. Please let us know a little about your career background and what made you to enter the agriculture field.
Okay, um, my career progression is a bit interesting in the sense I've done my BSc in zoology honors. I did my MSc in agrochemicals and pest management, where we studies all those agrochemicals and pest management. I studied MSc from University of Delhi, and then after that, prior to my MSc, I was working with my father. My father, we have got a family business of pest control at Patna since 1960. So I worked with my father and my grandfather in our family business. But after a certain time, I realized that these pesticides are not good for our human health. So their use in agriculture should be minimized. It should be restricted. So while I was doing my MSc from University of Delhi in agrochemicals and pest management, I came across different articles. I interacted with a couple of senior scientists how organic farming can be conducted. And it is around 25, 30 years back. Still, uh, not much information was available during those times, and people were a bit skeptical that organic farming is not sustainable. We won't be able to do much with it. But then I still persisted. I researched. I started working with farmers. After my MSc, I also did a quite number of startups. One startup was regarding juice. It was a natural drinks outlet at Ahmedabad. Then I started working with farmers in Bihar for natural farming because in those times the major constraint was supply. Supply was a major constraint. So I thought I'll rather be working at the back end, working with more and more farmer groups so that more and more areas can be converted into natural farming or organic farming. So as a private individual working with farmers, it was a bit difficult because farmers they've got a very high mistrust on people from cities. They say that people from cities they come to loot us. Their trust level is very low. So I thought, why not? I started working with the government agriculture university. When if I'm working with, or I'm training farmers through an agriculture university, the acceptance level is much more higher. So this was the reason why I came to Birsa Agriculture University way back in 2012. I started working with farmers. So in this incubation center, I'm supporting many startups, many of them with natural farming, poultry, piggery, dairy, goatry, with A2 milk. Many of these things we have been supporting them for the last so many years. So what we have been doing is that yes, we are there to support all these farmer groups. And yes, through Panchagavya and through this Amrit Rishi, slowly and slowly I started working with more and more farmers, not just within the states, but outside the state also.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Siddharth, that was very good to know about your experience and how you got into this field. And I'm sure our viewers and the listeners will be benefited from this talk, and it will be helpful for them to take their dreams further. Okay, Mr. Siddharth. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for the detailed presentation and answering all the questions. So we'll be ending this meeting now. Thank you.
ठीक है, thank you, Ms. Rajni. It's a nice pleasure interacting with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.